Happy 4th of July and welcome to another edition of Right on Rangers Live, coming at you after a tough 3-1 loss and series loss to the Padres. We're going to get into it here in just a little bit. But of course, y'all here at Right on Rangers, we cover everything sports, putting a little bit of an extra emphasis on all the teams we love from the great state of Texas, including the Rangers and especially the Rangers during baseball season. Appreciate y'all joining us today on this 4th of July. Happy 4th. Not a happy game for the Rangers, but we're going to be here to break it down for you, going through all of the key moments, highlights, lowlights, details, box score, all that good stuff. So let's get right into it. First of all, let's start out with Max Scherzer. Max Scherzer, quality start today. And Scherzer looked really good throughout this one. Didn't have a lot of strikeouts, didn't have a lot of swings and misses today. But I must say, Max looked really good today. And his 3 starts, really, since coming back from the injured list, have been pretty pristine. I really don't think there's a whole lot of nitpicking you can do with really any of Scherzer's starts. He has looked excellent. Every bit the guy that the Rangers traded for last year, 2.70 ERA on the season, yet he sits with a 1-2 record. Kind of like every other Rangers starter, to be honest. Pretty solid numbers, pretty solid ERA, and then that record is just atrocious thanks to the putrid run support that the Rangers have given their starting pitchers, especially some of their top starting pitchers over the first few months of this season. So let's talk about Scherzer. Let's break down his box score here. 6 1/3, 6 hits, only 1 walk. Love that stat. 1 walk or less. Never want to give the other team too many free bases. 3 earned runs and 3 strikeouts. Did give up the home run to Jurickson Profar. We're going to talk a little bit about Profar today. And Scherzer hands it off to Jose Urena. Urena goes 2 2/3, 3 hits, no earned runs, 1 K. Believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that Scherzer left the game with only 2 runs on the board, and then the unearned run, I guess. I don't know if that's officially how it goes down in the box score, but essentially Scherzer was responsible for a base runner when Urena comes in. Urena gives up a hit that comes around to score. Doesn't get credited to Urena because Scherzer was the one that let the guy on base. So Scherzer leaves with just 2 runs on the board. 3rd run gets attributed to him after Urena gives up a hit. So Scherzer, just a very quality outing for him. And once again, really, the bullpen, the whole effort with the pitching staff was there. 3 runs should be able to get you a win. Your pitchers only give up 3 earned runs in a game. That should be able to get you a win. And it just wasn't there today for the Rangers. The bats did not come to play today. We had a few guys, a few bright spots in the lineup that we're going to talk about. I think the next biggest story is probably Marcus Semien. Marcus Semien not in the lineup today. Very rare that Semien misses more than 1 game in a season. It's kind of a modern-day Iron Man of sorts when it comes to Major League Baseball. The first day off that he took earlier this year, I think it took a little bit of arm twisting, but they got it done. And he actually came back after the day off, and he hit pretty well. I don't know what the exact stats were, but if you remember, they kind of twisted Simmy's arm for the day off a few weeks ago. And then he actually came back the next game and went on a little bit of a tear. Now, it didn't last super long. I think it was maybe a week or less. But he was hitting well after that off day. So, look, maybe that is the key. Maybe that's the key. Maybe Semien gets an off day here and we see some improvement from him because Marcus Semien has not been good. Has not been good of late. What's up to everybody, by the way, on YouTube? Appreciate you. Andrew, what's up, bud? Thanks for tuning in today. This is a good one. Let's make this a short one. Got to go have some fun on the 4th of July. Hey, I totally hear you. What do I got going on here? All right. So, look, we'll try. We'll try to keep this short and sweet. I think it'll be a little bit shorter than our usual. Happy 4th to everybody. by the way. Appreciate you. What's up? I got a bunch of people on YouTube chiming in. Appreciate you. Thank you. Put any comments, questions you got in the chat. We'll talk about it. We're just going through this 3-1 unfortunate Rangers loss and series loss today. Marcus Semien day off today. Josh Smith kind of got a little taste of Josh Smith in the leadoff spot in the past lives that I've done really over the last week. I have flirted with the idea of Josh Smith as a leadoff hitter. And I think when you get Josh Young back, it might make sense. And Josh Smith, 2 hits today. Corey Seager had 2 hits today. The rest of the lineup just gave you basically nothing, maybe with the exception of Wyatt Langford. So the lineup today, new look. I like Josh Smith in the leadoff spot. I think it's something they might consider if Marcus Semien does not get out of this funk that he's in. I do think that there's a little bit of tradition there. The tradition being, Marcus is kind of our leadoff hitter, and he's just going to be the guy that fills that spot. But I would like to see them play around with it a little bit, especially if Simmy comes back off the rest day, the off day, whatever you want to call it, the benching, and still continues to scuffle. I do think Josh Smith in the leadoff spot is an option that the Rangers should consider. There's no reason you couldn't have Josh Smith hitting first. Maybe you have Semien hitting 2, Corey Seager hitting 3. I don't mind if Siegs moves back 1 spot. I do think there is something to be said mathematically. You are maximizing Seager's at-bats in the 2 spot over time. But over the course of 1 game, I don't think there's anything wrong with Corey hitting 3. Then maybe from there, you drop some other guys down. I think Adolis Garcia is a guy that you should drop down to 5, if not 6 at this moment. I don't think Dolly has really had a big breakout. He has a couple of games here and there where he collects 1 or 2 hits. Over his last 7 games, Dolly's hitting 230. He's hitting 230. And he does have a couple home runs, but Dolly, for me, needs to be hitting 5th. I don't think that right now, the way that he's going at this point in time, I don't think that it's enough to warrant him continuing to be our cleanup hitter. I don't think there's anything wrong with dropping Dolly down to the 5 spot and just seeing what he can do. Maybe it's a big improvement. Now, who do you hit 4th? I think that's a really good question. I think Nate Lowe is a little bit streaky and maybe not a super reliable 4-hole spot. Now, I do think a guy that you could hit cleanup when he gets back healthy is Josh Young. I think when Josh Young gets back, I would not mind, just bear with me for a second, wouldn't mind Smith, Simmy, Seager, Josh Young, Garcia. Maybe you do a little Garcia, Langford, maybe see how it goes with Garcia 5th, Langford 6th. Maybe you let Langford continue to hit 5th and you drop Dolly to 6th. I don't think, and I'm not married to really anybody locked in at one position in the lineup. I'm not. I think that you could very easily move things around. Victor, what's up, man? This team is painful to watch sometimes. Like today, it's just a painful loss. You're 1 hit away from tying the game, from going ahead in the game, and you just can't get that big hit. This team does have a problem with being clutch. We talked about it last night on the live. This team, when they're trailing in the 7th inning and beyond, is pretty much rolling over. I mean, they have 2 wins, 3 wins maybe in like 30-something attempts when they are down in the 7th inning or beyond. This is just not a team that has been coming back this year. Very unclutch team when they're behind, when they have a deficit in the 7th inning or later. Very unclutch team. I don't think that's a word, but we're going to make it a word. I just can't think of a whole lot of situations. The only real clutch moment that comes to mind for me, and I'd be happy, we can dwell on some positives here. If y'all can think of a different one, put it in the comments. I can think of Corey Seager and his 3-run homer when we were down 2-0 in Oakland against the A's. Siegs, I think in the 7th or 8th inning, hit a 3-run bomb that put us over the top in that game. There's not a lot of other games I can think about where we were trailing in the 7th and beyond and came back and won. Very unclutch team when they trail in the 7th inning and later. It sucks because this team was, in my opinion, really good at coming back last year. It was something that made this Rangers team, the 2023 Rangers team, really, really fun to watch. This year, it's painful to watch them in the 7th inning or beyond when they play with a deficit. Tommy, what's up? Thanks for tuning in. I'm with you, and I've said for really a couple of weeks now, drop Dolly to 5th, drop him to 6th. I don't think 7th, 8th, anything like that. Don't got to get drastic, but I don't think there's anything wrong with trying somebody else in the 4th spot. Now, Wyatt Langford, I have said, as good as he's been, I don't know how much more you want to move him up because you are putting pressure on the rookie. You are making him protect some big-time hitters. So let's say you go with Josh Smith leadoff. You move Simmy down to the 2 spot. You've got Corey Seager behind him. You need somebody that can protect Corey Seager. Right now, Dolly, Nate Lowe, they've tried a few different things with Josh Smith, especially in this leadoff spot. I don't know what the best answer is. It might need to be Wyatt Langford in the 4th spot. It might need to be. When Josh Young gets back, I do think that's an obvious choice. Have Josh Young hit 4th. I think that would be a great place for him. You can always toy around with it a little bit when there's a left-hander on the mound because Josh Young absolutely crushes lefties. But I don't think we're getting Josh Young. In fact, I think I read a report we're not getting him back till after the All-Star break. We're going to have to see what happens there. But I definitely think the Rangers need to drop Adolis down in the order. 5th, 6th. I just don't know how many games we can continue to hit him 4th, just hoping that he comes through. Today in the game, particularly the changeup right down the middle, Adolis takes it for strike 3 late in the game. Just hurtful. I mean, and I feel like there's a little bit of recency bias here, but I don't feel like that's the only time Dolly has struck out on a pitch right down the pipe. It just feels like something that happens a little too frequently. I absolutely wouldn't mind them messing around with the 4th spot a little bit. Now, Gio, what's up, my friend? Thanks for tuning in again. Appreciate you. Now, the Rangers do need to sweep the Rays. I don't see, a 2 out of 3, I guess you'll take a 3-3 homestand, and then you'll just really have to kill it against the Angels and Astros. But are we really counting on that? Are we really counting on the Rangers going out to Anaheim, going out to Houston, and just sweeping things? I'm not. I think you needed to go 4-2 this week, and then you needed to go at minimum 4-2 next week. I think you needed 2 4-2 weeks. I said at the beginning of the week, 8-4. You needed to go 8-4 before the All-Star break. I don't know if that's going to happen. The Rangers right now are 1-2 so far. You've got 9 games left. Do the math there. You're going to have to go 7-3 or something like that. 7-2, my bad. Fast math. 7-2 is what the Rangers would have to go in order to achieve that 8-4 mark. I just don't know if it's going to happen. 7-2 is a big ask against the Rays, Angels, and Astros. 7-2. That'd be something else. I'm here for it. If the Rangers can pull it off, I will be happy to eat my words, but I don't see them going 7-2 over the next 9 games. I see a 6-3, which is respectable. I think more likely is like a 5-4 or a 4-5. And you guys know I'm always half glass full. I'm always eternal optimist, but the Rangers are just getting into that crunch time of the season where you got to start putting together a streak. You got to start winning games at that 60% clip, 65% clip, winning 2 out of 3. And the Rangers just aren't getting it done right now. They're not getting it done right now. They had a primo opportunity yesterday to secure a series win. They were up 4-2, and they couldn't hold it. John Gray wasn't sharp. Leclerc gave up a run. Latz didn't have his A game. And then Dunning gives up the 2-run bomb. Yesterday was the game. I said that on Monday after the win. I said to y'all, they're going to have to win that Tuesday game or that Wednesday game. I don't want to leave it up to the Michael King start, and King was pretty dominant today against us. I didn't want to leave it up to this game for us to get a series win. Sure enough, the Rangers drop the final 2 games of the series on this 4th of July. And happy 4th to everybody watching today. I appreciate you. We're going to go have some fun with the family here afterwards. Hope you are able to do the same with friends or family. But thank you for tuning in, hanging out with us for a little bit. We're here, rain or shine, win or loss, talking it out with y'all. So, hey, let it loose. If you got an idea, you got a comment, a question, you got something that needs to be said about this Rangers team, put it in the comments. We'll talk about it. Now, as we go through the rest of the box score, and we're going to wrap things up here, Wyatt Langford, I think we got to talk about, not only what he did at the plate, drawing a walk, getting on base. So Langford just continuing to raise that batting average and on-base percentage. 1 for 3 with the walk today. 2 outstanding defensive plays. Go watch the highlight if you didn't catch the game today. Don't think Wyatt Langford robbed a homer in that play. I think it probably would have gone high off the wall, but it was an incredible play nonetheless. Wyatt Langford robbing extra bases. Just the trajectory didn't look like it was going to be a homer. Maybe you'll agree to disagree with me there. Looked like maybe high off the wall, but it was an outstanding play from Wyatt, going back, leaping, making an incredible catch at the wall. Wyatt Langford has been dazzling of late. And then the great outfield assist that he had, gunning down a runner at the plate, saving a run there. That was huge. Wyatt Langford saved, I think, multiple runs today. It could have been a much different ball game, probably a lot different in terms of the deficit. Wyatt Langford making it close with his arm, with his glove. And then Josh Smith had a great defensive play, an over-the-shoulder catch, going back on a baseball out in the outfield. So the Rangers had some outstanding defense today. Josh Smith and Wyatt Langford getting it done with both the glove and the bat. Josh Smith and Wyatt Langford, a combined, I believe, on base 4 different times today. If you combine their stats, you had, 3 for 7 with a walk and an RBI. Wyatt Langford and Josh Smith, probably the 2 best hitters right now. Corey Seager has had a couple of nice games in a row here with some extra base hits. We'll take it. We'll take it. Eric, what's up, my friend? Thanks for joining in. How are the Mariners doing today? Look, us Rangers fans, we got to draw on some kind of positive. I know the Mariners were on a little bit of a negative stretch there. Don't know how they're doing today. Maybe they haven't played yet. Let's check it out. Houston looks like they won today 5-3. And let's see. Is Seattle off today? Seattle's tie game 2-2 in the middle of the 7th inning, looks like, with Baltimore. We'll see how that game finishes out. The Rangers could use a Mariners loss. We're just being real here. We could use some teams ahead of us losing with how badly the Rangers have been playing of late. It's not been good. Rangers drop another series after sweeping the Royals. The Rangers have now dropped 3 series in a row. It's not pretty. It is not pretty right now. But we're going to weather this one out with you. We're going to go through the rest of this box score, start looking at the Rays series, and then get out of here to have some fun on the 4th. So we've got Jankowski, Kisner, Ornelas hitting a combined 0 for 11 today. So 7, 8, 9 go 0 for 11. And this is a little bit of a glaring lack of depth at the bottom of the order. Look, Jankowski, we sung his praises earlier in the year. He had a great World Series filling in for Doley. But Jankowski has not been good this year. And I love El Blondie. Love that guy. Great glove. Love the intangibles. But El Blondie is hitting 0.97 in his last 15 games. It has not been good. And then you go down the lineup. You continue to look at some of the numbers. Kisner hitting 141 on the year. He had a multi-hit game, I think, against Baltimore, but 0 for 3 here. Jonah Heim came in and pinch hit in the 9th inning. Jonah Heim has not been in a great way over the last 10, 15 games, but he has had a nice couple of hits over his last few. Jonah Heim, though, came into pinch hit today, swung at a really terrible pitch to end the game. I mean, that was probably, 6 inches off the plate. Just not a pitch you're going to drive. So disappointing AB from Jonah Heim in the pinch hit spot. But Jonah is hitting 286 over his last 7. Hopefully, good things continue to come there. But Jonah Heim has not hit well. Over his last 15, 30 games. So Heim comes in, doesn't get it done, ends the game on a weak ground out. And then Ornelas, he has just not come through in his opportunities. I think he had a couple of hits or one hit, but 167 on the year. Look, I think they're going to ride that out until Josh Young comes back. But the Rangers do have a bottom of the order problem. It's going to get better when Evan Carter comes back. And when Josh Young comes back, you're going to see guys get pushed towards the 7 and 8 spots. So we'll see. But the bottom of the order going 0 for 11, that's just not going to work. It's just not going to work. So the bats did not come through today. Josh Smith, Wyatt Langford, Corey Seager, the bright spots on the day. Leote did get on base one time. But I do think that they're going to need to play around with this order a little bit when it comes to Marcus Semien and Adolis Garcia. We'll see if those guys can come around. But as long as both of them are slumping, I think you have got to play around with the lineup a little bit. Does anybody really just want to keep hitting Marcus Semien until the wheels fall off? That's not my mindset. Even if you drop Simmy down to second, who knows what can happen? Who knows? Maybe it's an improvement. Maybe it lights a fire under him. You've seen the Rangers move some guys around, and then sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. If Semien continues in this slump and you've got him in the 2 spot, so be it. But at this point, at do or die, I mean, this part of the season, y'all, it really is do or die for the Rangers. You have got to start winning some series. If you even want a shot at being a buyer at the trade deadline, or how about this, just not being a seller? You continue to lose these series going into the All-Star break, you're going to be a seller at the deadline. There's no reason to keep guys around if you're out of the playoffs. Now, the one guy I think that they could get the most value for, I don't know if they're going to try and trade, and that's Nate Eovaldi. Nate Eovaldi could be a pretty big trade chip. The Rangers are going to be good in 2025. In my opinion, I think they've got a better shot in 25 than they do this year. You've got a full year of Jacob deGrom. You still have some good weapons. I think that the Rangers are going to be okay in 2025. I think Nate Eovaldi has a player option that is executed once he hits a certain number of innings. I think it's kind of right on the borderline whether he's going to hit it or not. I mean, you trade Nate Eovaldi, you're probably not going to get him back in free agency. It's really rare that ends up happening. The Rangers might be wise to hold on to Evo even if they start losing some games here and knock themselves out of the playoffs. I don't know if I'm trading Eovaldi because next year you could use a Nate Eovaldi in a year where the Rangers are going to be returning a lot of guys. Yes, you've got some guys out in the bullpen on expiring contracts. I don't know. I don't want to talk too much about the worst case scenario here, but I'd like to see the Rangers play themselves into at least not being sellers at the deadline. Maybe you're not going to go out and get anybody, but you're not going to sell anybody per se because you still have a shot, an outside shot to make the playoffs. Would like to see the Rangers over the next 9 games go 6-3. They've got to go 7-2 in order to hit that 8-4 mark that I really think is what's most viable as you look forward to, are you going to be a seller or a buyer at the deadline? Are you going to be relevant down the stretch to make the playoffs? Really think the Rangers needed an 8-4 2-week stretch. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. We'll see. But it's going to start with a series win against the Rays. Hopefully they can take at least 2 out of 3. I think a sweep might be too much to ask. I think 2 out of 3 is possible. The Rays are record-wise better than the Rangers. But you'll remember back in, April, before Josh Young got injured. I think that was actually the series that Josh Young got injured. The Rangers did beat the Rays, I think, 2 out of 3 games. So who knows? Who knows? But I would say there's not a lot that you can really point to at this point that gives you confidence that the Rangers are going to dominate over the next 9 games. Rays, Angels, Astros. But you never know. It's baseball. The team can get hot, streaky. Maybe the Rangers can pull something out of their hats and make it work over the next 9 games and finish strong before the All-Star break. I do think right now the recipe is going to be tweaking the lineup a little bit. I don't know how much longer you can just trot Simmy and Dolly out into the 1 and 4 spots respectively and expect different results from the team as a whole. Marcus Semien hitting below 100 in his last 15 games. You can't have that be your leadoff hitter. You can't. And I know Bochy's an old school guy. I know Bochy is loyal to some of his guys for sure. But I need to see some tweaking. We can't have our leadoff hitter hitting below 100. It's not going to win you games. You got to have a good leadoff hitter. Marcus Semien, I love Simmy. I'm not saying drop him down to the 9 spot. But I think that it is fair, very fair, to suggest the Rangers potentially look at a different leadoff hitter at this point in the season, considering where Marcus Semien is at and the kind of year that he's having. Is it related to the collision with Garcia? I know that a lot of Rangers media has been kind of making light of that. Not making light of it, shedding light on that. So Semien, Garcia, I think that was probably 5-6 weeks ago, collided on a ball that was kind of in no man's land. And the point is, Simmy's, I think, been hitting under 200 since that collision. Could that be a reason? Maybe. Is it possible he's just slumping, though? Yeah, it is. So we'll see what happens. Don't know if Marcus Semien is going to turn it around after this little break he received today. He's going to be at the All-Star game, so you don't get a break then. I think the Rangers need to toy around with Simmy and with Dolly in the lineup, at least temporarily, at least short term. You can always move them back, but I think that they would be wise to see if they can get some better production out of the 4 spot and out of the 1 spot in their lineups. Now, looking forward to the game tomorrow. Let's press on here, shall we? So tomorrow's game against the Rays. Evening start. And these will be the final 3 games, by the way, before the Rangers head into the All-Star break. They'll be on the road in California and in Houston leading up into the All-Star break. Lorenzen is going to be starting for the Rangers tomorrow. Tampa Bay has not announced a starting pitcher yet. Tampa Bay is 43-43, so they're playing 500 ball. And as I look at the standings, which hopefully I can pull up for you pretty quick, let's check out how the Rays have been in their last 10 games. We'll see if we're playing a team that's hot, kind of playing mediocre. Looks like they're 6-4 over their last 10. The Rays lost. Looks like they lost yesterday. I think they're still playing today, if I'm not mistaken. So let me check out. Yep, they don't play, in fact, until 7 o'clock tonight. So hopefully the Royals can beat up on the Rays and we can catch them in a little bit of a losing streak. But the Rays playing about 500 ball over their last 10 games, right? So tomorrow, Lorenzen on the bump. Let's see what Lorenzen's numbers are against the Rays. So Lorenzen has only faced Rosario more than 1 time. Everybody else looks like only has 1 at bat against Lorenzen. Rosarina 0 for 1. Palacios, the right fielder, 0 for 2. Siri is 0 for 1 with an RBI. Rosario has 9 at bats against Lorenzen and looks like he is 4 for 9. Everybody else, no at bats against Mike Lorenzen. So we'll see. We'll see how Lorenzen fares against this Rays lineup. Lorenzen has been very good over his last 3 games, over his last 7 games. Over his last 7, Lorenzen has a 3.18 ERA. He did get roughed up against Baltimore, so I guess I take that back. Last 3 games, looks like just the Baltimore start got roughed up. 4 walks, 4 hits. Wasn't Mike Lorenzen's greatest start. Hopefully he's due for a bounce-back game. Milwaukee, he went 5 innings, 2 earned runs. Mets, he went 6 innings, 3 earned runs. So Lorenzen, very capable of putting up a quality start, and I would expect him to after a rough game against Baltimore. Hopefully, Mike Lorenzen can give us a good chance to win tomorrow's game. We'll see who the Rays throw out there. Wish we had some matchup numbers we could throw your way, but Rays have not announced the starting pitcher yet. So we'll have to wait and see tomorrow morning. We'll have to check that out. Now, let's do a little AL West roundup. We talked about Houston being winners today, so they will gain yet another game on the Rangers. They are now 6 full games above the Rangers in that second place position. That escalated quickly, as they say. The Rangers are now 39-48. Astros are 45-42, have won 8 of their past 10 games. Mariners hold a 1.5 game lead, and with the loss, that lead would shrink to 1 game. Astros 1 game out of first place. Pretty wild considering where they started, but they have been winning a lot of ball games of late. And it is unfortunate to see, but it is what it is. The Mariners tied with the Orioles, I believe. We'll check on that score in just a second. Angels, 3-game losing streak. They are 2 games behind the Rangers for third place. A's are 7.5 behind the Rangers for third place, 15 games out of the division. That's the AL West standings for you. By the way, playoff spot, Rangers are out 8.5 games. In fact, they've got a better chance right now at winning the division than winning a wild card spot, if that tells you anything. It wasn't always that way, but that's how it is today. A's are up 4-0 on the Angels after 7. We've also got, let me see here, the Mariners and Orioles. Bottom of the 7th, Mariners have the bases loaded with 2 outs. So we'll tune in. We'll see if they can get out of this one. See if they can get out of this jam. The Orioles, that is. But Mariners might be able to take advantage here of a big moment. We'll keep our eye on that for you as we wrap things up. And then over the weekend series, I think this is important. The Mariners over the weekend will be playing the Blue Jays at home. Maybe a little bit of a fortuitous series for them. Blue Jays are 39-48. The Astros will be, let's see, they'll be playing the Twins in Minnesota. The Twins are 49-38. So we've got, looks like the teams above us, one kind of playing a mediocre team. Astros are going to play a pretty good Twins team in Minnesota. So we'll see what happens there. We'll see what happens in those series. Of course, we'll be with you all weekend long post-game after the Rangers hopefully winning some games against the Rays. And now let's check back in on that Mariners score, see what they did with the bases loaded. Looks like we've got a little bit of a pitching change going on here. So we won't be able to update you on this because we are going to sign off here in a second. But let's check comments and then we'll get you out of here. Frankie, what's up, bud? Thanks for tuning in today. Happy 4th. And happy 4th to everybody that is still watching, that's tuned in today. Appreciate you. Thanks so much. Tomorrow, by the way, late start, I believe. So we'll see, probably going live at you same time as yesterday, kind of right around that 9 o'clock Texas time, 9:30 Texas time, right after the game is over. That'll be the plan. Thank you so much for liking, for watching, for supporting the channel. If you are not subscribed yet, whether you're watching live or on the replay, you're not following the account, would greatly appreciate it. You know somebody that loves Rangers baseball. You know somebody that loves baseball in general. Please send them my way. Share a video with them. Tell them about the channel. Let's keep growing this good community of people talking Rangers baseball, baseball in general. It's why I started this in the first place. By the way, TikTok giving us a little bit of trouble with our videos that we put out each day, betting 1 cent on Texas Rangers money line for every follower. We're going to have to figure something else out alternatively, but we may not be posting our videos on TikTok quite as much as a result, but we'll still be on all the other major socials. I think they have a little like betting, guideline, community guidelines thing. So, yeah, unfortunate, but we will prevail. We'll work around it. So we'll have that video out to you guys probably tomorrow, maybe late afternoon, mid-afternoon, something like that. Give you an update on the system. took a little bit of a hit. It was looking good there for a couple of days. Rangers drop the last 2 games that they played. Hopefully a bounce back is in order against the Rays. Want to say thank you again for watching. Hope everybody has a happy and safe 4th of July. Enjoy time with friends and family. I will be doing that myself here in a little bit. And then we'll be back at you tomorrow. So hope y'all have a great rest of the Thursday and hope to see you sometime this weekend post-game after some Rangers wins. If not, hopefully we'll catch you on the replay. If I don't see you, though, have a great weekend. And as I always say to end every show, God bless and go Rangers.